Welcome to Land of House. I'm Seth. This is the Sainsmart Genmitsu 4040 Pro CNC machine. I just finished getting this thing set up and I want to show you around and also start the first project here with this machine. So if you're interested in that, continue watching. Let's take a tour around this machine real quick. Now, some assembly is required. If you want to watch the assembly video, I'll have a link in the description down below where I put this thing together piece by piece. But let's go ahead and start off by doing a little tour around this machine. So this is everything that comes with the machine. You have got some wrenches to adjust the spindle. It's also got some small clamps with various hardware needed to go into the MDF here. It's also got a little kit that has lots of goodies inside. Now I had all the hardware to assemble this. It's got some longer bolts here. It's got some different bits. You got a Z probe and another collet and some more limit switches there. But the kit is really nice. And another thing that is really nice is the user manual. So it's probably the cleanest I've seen in a while for an assembly, and it has nice color pictures that show you step by step how to get everything assembled here. It also has the how-to for getting all of your software installed, and that process was pretty easy as well. Now I have another CNC machine over here that I had to unplug before this one would be picked up by Easel, but it is now working just fine. So the only thing I don't really like about this machine so far is that the included clamps are rather small and a bit difficult to work with, since the MDF here has spaced these holes, and you can't always lock down the material you need with such a small clamp. But other than that, it's quite nice. Let's take a tour of this CNC machine, starting here with the front right corner. This is the 4040 Pro model, as you can see written right here. So to begin with, down here on the bottom, you have your front module, and then back here on the back, there is the back module. The only difference is the back module has the wiring in it, so you can connect to those stepper motors. So in order to get the unit square, there are these pins that drop down, and that allows the two sides of the Y to fit down in there and make a nice square and level fit. I had 16 of these bolts go in there to hold that into position, and it was quite simple to get installed. If you'll notice, there is a glide rail on top and on bottom as well, which means this machine definitely slides very true to square. It also hides that threaded rod down there, so it's hard to get anything to it. So it won't be binding up anyone's finger anytime soon. Definitely don't want to do that. So on top of the two Y modules, you have got your X, and the X just has the same four bolts here on the side, same type of rail system, and it goes over here to this side. Now you'll notice there is the stepper motor here, but it has a manual jog wheel on it, which is very handy if you need to adjust this out of the way while the machine is off. That same type of jog wheel is here on the Z-axis and also available here on both sides of the Y. You'd have to have both hands free to do that. Moving over here to the Z-axis, the wiring on the spindle is kind of open, and it'd be nice if that were covered a bit, but so far hasn't been any problem. So this kit does have the wrenches here that you can use to adjust the spindle down there to replace the bit if you need to. The unit does also have limit switches, so if I look up under here, you can see this right here is a limit switch. There are also limit switches on the other axis as well. So kind of hard to see, but there's one right down in there, and there's also one on this side over here. If we move over here, there is an E-stop up here which will turn the machine off, and also the power button down here. Then you've got your control board over here on this side, which is perhaps a little bit awkward of a position. It'd be nice if this were placed back there in the back, because I like to keep my cords not hanging off the front of my work surface. I like to have them back off of the other side of the table so I don't brush into them. But as far as wiring goes, it was quite simple. Just had to hook up the spindle up here, had this limit switch, and also had the stepper motor there. Stepper motor is controlled up here with this. And then on the back, there are a couple of little wires that connect everything down there on those Y modules. So very nice machine, well built, and seems like it will do very good here in the future. So you can replace this spindle with a bigger mount, so you could place something such as a Makita router in there if you want to step this up to a bit more power. The Z probe would go into this connection right here, which is a bit awkward if you're going to be using that often, which most people are, and that's going to be sliding back and forth. You may have issues with that getting caught by the machine and torn up. So it'd be nice if the plug here were a bit more convenient to pop in and out that cable and not that style. Perhaps we'll see an improvement to that as this company moves forward. Okay, now that you've seen the machine, let's go ahead and run our first project. I'm going to be using Easel, and so let's jump on the computer real quick and find a design we like. The first thing I need to do is set up my material. So I know that this is going to be 7.5 inch, this is going to be 12.25, and the thickness is 0.75. There we go. So now let's go ahead and pick one of these designs that comes with Easel, and we'll go ahead and do our first test here with the CNC machine. Now there are tons and tons in here, but let's just pick something in the nature category. I used to live in New Mexico, so how about a cactus? Let's do this one right here. There we go. Let's move this, I think, up a bit. We go over here to the cut and reduce this down to an 8 so we're not watching this for too long. Alright, let's go ahead and do a cut here. Now the material is 3/4 inch. That's correct. Is it locked down? Not yet. Let's go do that. I just have some plywood that I'm going to use here as our test material. So the holes that are in this MDF have an insert inside of them that is threaded to allow these all thread pieces to go into. So if I want to hold this piece down here, I'm just going to thread this in here a couple of times and then take one of the clamps and put it on here. It's got a washer and then got a little wing nut, and that's what they have included to allow the clamps here on our material. The material is now locked down. Let's click that. I am using an 1/8 inch bit. And now Easel is asking to place the 0 point on the upper left corner. So let's do that now. I'm going to be using these arrows over here to jog the machine into position. I've placed my bit here on the front left corner. Let's go ahead and say use this new position. Let's raise the bit. Let's turn the spindle on. Alright, now we're ready to begin carving. In order to take a look at our work, I'm going to jog this out of the way. Now obviously I don't have any dust extraction yet, but that turned out really nice. You can tell this machine is not very loud with this smaller spindle. Did not even have to have any kind of ear protection while running it. As you can see, the clamps did work. They're just a little bit small. I've used bigger clamps now and like those a lot better, but to have those included is definitely good to begin with, but definitely would upgrade those at some point. And that's my brief overview of the Sainsmart Genmitsu 4040 Pro CNC. If you want to watch the video where I do a full assembly, I'll have a link to that in the description down below. This machine was easy to put together and it has run flawlessly on my first project here. So if you want to check out this machine to purchase for your very own, I also have a link to that in the description down below. I'm Seth with Land to House, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.